1-2, the distributive property and rules for multiplication. If we look at example 1, we have 5 times 83. We can do this two ways. We can just do 5 times 83, or we can do 5 times 80 plus 3. If we distributed this, we can do 5 times 80 and 5 times 3. 5 times 80 is 400, and 5 times 3 is 15. So now we can add these two to get 415. It makes things a little bit easier for us. If we look at example B, we have 6 times 9.5. So again, we can do 6 times 9 plus 0.5. So we're actually going to do 6 times 9, and then we're going to do 6 times 1/2. So 6 times 9 is 54, and then 6 times 1/2, or 0.5, is actually 3. 54 times 3 gives us 57. For C, we have 8 times 2 and 1/4, so we can do 8 times 2 plus 1/4. If we distribute that 8, we're going to do 8 times 2, which is 16, and then 8 times 1/4, or 8 over 4, which is 2. If we add these two, we are left with 18. If we look at example 2a, we have 5 times x plus 2. If we think order of operations, the x plus 2 we cannot simplify, so we're going to leave it x plus 2. Then we're going to distribute that 5 to give us 5x plus 10. Again, you cannot simplify that. They're not like terms, so we're going to leave it. For B, we have 6y plus 7 times 4. So you're going to distribute in that 4. So we're going to do 4 times 6y, which is 24y, and 4 times 7, which is a positive 28. So 24y plus 28. If we look at example 3, we are simplifying this. We have 75 times 17 plus 25 times 17. Remember, this is the same thing as saying 17 times 75 plus 25. Do what's in parentheses first. The 75 plus 25 is 100. So 17 times 100 gives us 1,700. If we look at example 4, we have 8y minus 6y. So we're just combining like terms here. They both have that y, so we can combine the 6 minus 8, which gives us 2y. For B, we have 3n plus 7n minus 4n. They're all like terms, so do the 3n plus 7n first to give us 10n minus 4n. The 10n minus 4n is then 6n. For C, we have 8 times n minus 1 plus 3n. We're going to distribute that 8 first to get 8 times n, which is 8n, times, and then you have 8 times negative 1, which is negative 8, plus 3n. Your 8n and your 3n are like terms, so we're going to combine them to get 11n minus 8. If we look at our next example, we're using we're multiplying these, and we're making sure that we use the identity element for multiplication. Remember, it's 1. So a times 1 is equal to a. 1 times a is equal to a. Remember, if you're multiplying anything by 0, your answer is 0 as well. If you're multiplying by anything by negative 1, it actually changes the sign. Okay, so remember, if you are multiplying two numbers and they have the same signs, your answer is going to be positive. If you're multiplying two numbers and they have different signs, your answer is going to be negative. So if we look at example 5a, we have 4 times 7. Well, 4 times 7 is just 28. For B, we have negative 4 times 7. We have opposite signs, so our answer is going to be negative 28 for this one. For C, same thing. We have opposite signs, so our answer is going to be negative 28. And then for D, we have a negative 4 and a negative 7. Those signs are the same, so our answer is going to be positive 28. All right. So if we look at our next example, it tells us to tell whether the product is positive or negative. Well, when we have an odd number of negatives within products, our answer is negative. If we have an even number of negatives within our product, our answer is positive. So if we look at example 6a, we have 4 times negative 6, which would be a negative, times negative 7, which would become a positive, and then times negative 5, which would be a negative. For B, we have a negative 2, a negative 8, a negative 7, a positive 5, and a negative 6. The negative 2 and the negative 8 would become positive. The negative 7 and the negative 6 would also become positive. And that 5 is positive, so our answer is positive. For C, we have a negative 9 times 3 times 0 times 5. Well, think about this here. The negative 9 times negative 5 is positive. However, we have a 0 here. Anytime we multiply anything by 0, it is 0. And 0 is neither positive nor negative, so it's neither. For example 7, we are simplifying. So remember, when we are multiplying two terms and they have two different variables, we're going to keep both of those variables. So we have negative 3x times 4y, for example 7a. So the negative 3 times 4 is going to give us negative 12, and x times y is just xy. So negative 12xy is our solution. For B, we have 4p plus negative 5p. We have two terms that are like terms, so we're going to combine them. 4 minus 5 is a negative 1, so that's just negative p. Remember, you don't need the 1 out in front of the variable. It's understood that it's there. If there's a negative out in front, it's negative 1. If we look at example 8a, we have negative 2 times x minus 3y. So we're going to distribute that negative 2 because we cannot simplify anything inside those parentheses. So we're going to do negative 2 times x, which is negative 2x, and then negative 2 times negative 3y, which is going to give us a positive 6y. And next we have 3p minus 4 times p minus 2. P minus 2 is simplified. That negative 4 is what you're going to distribute in. The sign in front of the number stays with the number. So this 3p is going to stay. Negative 4 times p is negative 4p. And negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8. So then from here, we're going to simplify by combining like terms. The 3p minus 4p gives us negative p. Keep the plus 8. You cannot simplify this any further, so negative p plus 8 is our solution. If we look at some extra practice problems, for 1, we have 6x plus 16x. They're like terms, so we're going to combine those like terms. 6x plus 16x gives us 22x. For 2, we have negative 2 times x plus negative 6 times x. Remember, this is the same thing as x times negative 2 plus negative 6. Should make these brackets. So then we can do the negative 2 plus negative 6, which gives us negative 8. So x times negative 8. And this is going to be a negative 8x. For 3, we have 3 times 1 plus x plus 7. So we're going to distribute that 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times x is 3x plus 7. Your like terms are the 3 and the 7. So we're going to do 10 plus 3x. Now, the correct way to write this is 3x plus 10. You always want that term that has the variable to come first. For 4, we have negative 1 times 6 times negative 6. Those negatives are an even number of negatives, so it's going to be positive. So from here, the 1 times 6 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36, so we're going to have a positive 36. For 5, we have a negative 3p times negative 4q. A negative times a negative is going to be a positive. 3 times 4 is 12, and p times q is pq. Again, you want to keep that in alphabetical order there. For 6, we have x minus 7 times negative 2, so we're going to distribute that negative 2 in. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 7 times negative 2 is a positive 14. So negative 2x plus 14. For 7, we have negative 4 times b minus 5, so negative 4 times b, and negative 4 times negative 5. Negative 4 times b is negative 4b. Negative 4 times negative 5 is a positive 20. So negative 4b plus 20. For 8, we have 1 minus 2 times g plus h. So distribute that negative 2 in. This is going to become 1 minus 2g minus 2h. From here, you cannot simplify any further because there are no like terms. So you're going to leave it 1 minus 2g minus 2h. For 9, we have 5 minus 2 times a minus b. So distribute in that negative 2. We're going to have 5 minus 2a plus 2b. And again, you cannot simplify that one any further, so that's your answer.